Hello everyone, today is Friday night, it's about 10 o'clock, May the 7th, 2021. This is Wes Fryer, proudly wearing my Beefaroo shirt that I picked up in Ohio. It's an appropriate shirt for tonight. Tomorrow, am going to be cooking tri-tip. Tri-tip is a sirloin. It's from the lower part of the sirloin, and I think it's called Santa Maria sometimes. It's known for being from California, and supposedly it's hard to get or just uncommon to get in certain parts of the country. But I was really excited today that I was able to get some. The butcher shop I went to, the meat house in Edmond up north of us, was actually out, but I found some at Costco, and this is USDA Prime. And what I'm going to do tonight, and I'm just going to time lapse this, set it to some music. I'm going to go ahead and dry brine this. You can, it varies how much preparation time you have, and we could certainly get by doing this for 15 or 30 minutes or a few hours, but different recipes I've read have said, yeah, it's fine to do it overnight, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to cook chimichurri sauce, which I've had before and used with picanha steaks, which is the sirloin cap that's really cooked more on skewers, and it's a Brazilian, it's a more of a famous Brazilian cut. Anyway, one of the, again, YouTubers and folks I've seen cooking tri-tip recommended that. And anyway, tonight I'm just getting my stuff together a little earlier. So here we go with the kosher salt that we're going to be liberal and generous with to dry brine these tri-tip steaks that I'm going to leave overnight until I cook them. Probably start about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then we're going to do the chimichurri sauce as well. So to talk a little bit about my ingredients, I will put this recipe in the description. The recipe I have calls for Fresno chilies. I can't find those, so these are just poblanos, but I'm going to go ahead and get the seeds out of these and chop these up finely. I'm going to add some lemon juice to this. I haven't used that before. Shallots, which sometimes are a little bit, you have to go to a nicer grocery store, I do, in order to find them. I've got some, I've got parsley, and I also have oregano. I'm just going to use my squeezed garlic, which I really, you can cut up regular garlic and whatever, but I love cooking with this. I don't have fresh oregano, so we're just going to do oregano flakes. I'm going to do some red wine vinegar. We're going to have some olive oil, and we're going to do some salt. So here we go. Keep in mind we use kosher salt for this, as it's coarse and has like half the potency of regular table salt. So if you would not have kosher salt, you want to use about half as much salt. So I'm gonna let this go overnight in the fridge. Shoot, you know what I just did? Doggone it. Hey, do we like leaving in the bloopers or not? I need to be flipping this over because I have the legs. They're going to make that stand up. All right. And I've put a piece of foil here in my... There's just like, what's going on? Can I have a piece of that, he says? Not yet, Moose. I put a piece of foil down here. Just have the meat in. Ta-da! It's just gonna sit in there all night long until about 3 o'clock tomorrow. Hey, it's Saturday, May the 8th, 2021. We're about to smoke and sear up some tri-tip steaks that have been dry brining in the fridge for about, well, since 10 o'clock last night, so over 12 hours. And I'm expecting to need to cook at 225, smoke at 225 for about 30 minutes per pound. So I'm expecting about 2 hours. We want to eat about 6:30. So time-wise, the sear is going to be really fast, and then I would need to rest for a little bit. So probably need about 2.5 hours. I kind of wanted to get this thing started about 3:30. It's about 3:45, so I'm about on time. We're going to go ahead and get the grill fired up, and it'll probably take 20 or 30 minutes to come up to temperature. In the meantime, I'm going to go in and I'm going to season with some little bit of salt, but I've already had salt on it, so I'll go light on the salt. I'm going to do black pepper, garlic powder. So anyway, I'm going to treat this a little bit like a brisket, but it's, some people will call a tri-tip a poor man's brisket. It definitely requires a lot less cook time. So anyway, let's get this thing fired up and we'll go inside and get this thing seasoned up. Pepper and garlic powder, and that's been sitting about 15 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and take this out. The RecTeq is at 225. It didn't take too long to come up to temp. I was actually thinking with like a half hour more when I've been doing chicken and that cooking at 400. So go ahead and take this out, put this on the grill. I'm sure Moose is ready to assist me. Alright, so we are right at 225. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and lay it with that fat side down. This was trimmed really well by basically Costco, and here you can kind of zoom in on that. So there's, I guess you can get tri-tips to have a fat cap, kind of like a brisket, but it's fine not to. And of course the rub is going to adhere a lot better. Well, it really can't adhere and get into the meat if you have that fat cap. But some people will like to leave that, and definitely if we were doing picanha, we would be leaving that that fat on there. But anyway, here we go. And oh, I got to put my probes in, so I'll get my probes going in here so I can monitor my temperature. Probably going to take about 2 hours. Whew! All right, the cook's been going good. I've been mowing the yard, trying to get that finished, and this is going a lot faster than I thought it would. I was thinking we were going to be like 2 hours, and we've been on for about an hour, and we're already up, according to one probe, at 116 and 120, 121. So we're going to take a peek, use the thermoprobe pin, just make sure we're getting the thickest part of the meat, because we really want to take this thing off to sear at 125. I got to get my charcoal going so that I can put the sear on there. And I'm going to actually, I don't know if I've talked about this before, I'm going to be starting with my Hasty Bake Fire Starter, which is just a liquid. I make a little cup out of foil and put that under my charcoal chimney, and that way I'm not using any lighter fluid. So I have sworn off lighter fluid, and I cooked with lighter fluid for like 20 years, I'm embarrassed to say. But anyway, live and learn. That's why it's great to be able to learn how to do backyard barbecue on YouTube, because there's all kinds of things we can learn to do better. So let's take a peek at this meat and see what the temperature is looking like. All right, so it says we're at 117 and 121. So take a peek here and go ahead and pop that in. That's not saying it's quite that warm, so I don't know. Maybe that position of the probes there may not be saying 117. Obviously, there's going to be variance. variance in temperature. I've got a little bit more time, but I think I'm going to go ahead and fire up my charcoal chimney. This thing has cooked a lot faster than I thought it would. We've just been on for a little over an hour, and it says we're already at like 128 and 132. And I didn't start my charcoal early enough for my sear, so you can come in and kind of focus in here. I want to take this off at about 125, which that looks like that's perfect actually. So my thermometers are showing that that's a little bit higher. That's showing about 130, so this one's showing a little bit hotter. But what I want to go ahead and do is I'm not going to do this to wrap long term. I just want to wrap until I can get my fire hot enough to sear. So I'm just gonna throw this in foil and put this in my styrofoam here until my charcoal over there comes up and I can sear. So anyway, my first attempt at doing this on the RecTeq, and yeah, I should have gotten my charcoal going sooner for my sear. I could crank my RecTeq up actually to 400. Hey, maybe I'll do that. Actually, I'm just going to crank it all the way up. We'll see which one is faster. So I'm going to crank it all the way to 500, and let's see. We'll see how fast it goes. I thought I needed to sear on my charcoal to be able to get it that hot, and I still could. But anyway, because of the timing, let's see how we do. So it says we're at 195 now, and anyway, let's see what happens. All right, so we're going to do an experiment, and we're going to sear one of our tri-tips on the charcoal, and we're going to do one over here on the RecTeq. So we've set the set point to 500. I think we've been going about 20 minutes or so, something like that. If I'll correct that if I'm wrong with some text. But we're coming up to 489. So we're going to go ahead and throw one of these beauties on here. We're going to do it on two sides. And it really, that was hot. All right. And then, directly here, I won't cover that up because I want to keep that airflow going. So, okay, we'll see what happens here. We'll flip them in 5 minutes. All right, I've got to flip these tri-tips here in about 45 seconds. If I was going to go back in time, I would have started my charcoal a little bit sooner, so I could have immediately gone from the smoker, right onto the charcoal. I don't think it's going to be terrible to have a delay. One of the videos that I watched, the guy was using a big green egg and had to take off the heat shield or whatever to be able to bring that smoker up to temp. So let's go ahead and flip, and I'm not going to actually check the temperature until I have to cook on the second side. So, all right, so flipping there for the sear. That's looking pretty good, actually. All right, and then we here on the charcoal, which is probably a little bit hotter. I'm gonna guess a little bit. I'm not cooking on grill grades. We're not getting those perfect sear marks, but hey, I think it's going to be good. So 5 minutes, we're going to test our temperature, and if we're around 135, that should be medium rare. Of course, once we wrap, they'll continue to cook a little bit, but we're hoping for 135 internal temperature, something like that. Not too high above that. We'll see. All right, we've seared for 10 minutes. So let's go back our temp here. Ooh, we're hot. We're hot. We're about 140 though. That's not bad. We're trying to go for 135. 35 would be pretty much perfect medium rare. As long as I don't drop this, we're good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do a wrap here. And actually, I'm gonna speed up because I gotta take off my other one. So one we're putting on the bottom is gonna be let's see how we're doing over here. Temperature 142, a little bit warmer, but oh man, 145. Okay, so we're gonna be a little bit more like medium, but I think we're gonna be great. Ooh, this looks good. If I was to drop it at that moment, that would be called a fail. All right, so I like to wrap in butcher paper when I'm cooking a brisket, and I'm wrapping to continue cooking. But with this, I'm just wrapping to let the meat rest. So yay! All right, now it's time to make some warm cabbage salad and some roasted Brussels sprouts, and get ready for dinner. All right, it's that time, and I did get some feedback on my last slicing job with my brisket. So we have an actual slicing knife to use. This ends up being a bit of a test because I've done these two different ways. So I know this does not look very fancy, but I don't think I have enough whatever this is around my cutting board for the juice that's going to be in here. So these have been resting now probably about 45 minutes. So take a look at that. That looks great. All right, so we have complete potential to ruin the meal tonight by cutting this the wrong way. So if we cut it with the grain, we're going to be in trouble. So what I've heard is to go ahead, not bad. Go ahead and cut it in the middle, and then, good grief, how are we going to determine? I think the grain is going this way. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slice it here. Take it off the fork, buddy.
And he ordered all these things from Waffle House.
Gotta take it off the fork. Yeah, you gotta take it off the fork. Come on, there you go. What do you think, huh? Is that good? Yeah, that's good. All right, lessons learned. I think it turned out great. Even though we did not sear it just like immediately, it took about 20 minutes to go ahead and get the grills up to temperature. So there you go. Tri-tip on the RecTeq pellet grill. Seared. Either way, it is excellent. All right, this is the requisite taste of the tri-tip with a little of the chimichurri, which this is the first time I prepared it the night before.
It doesn't make a difference.
Wow. It's really good. All right, so we had a guest tonight, and I'm not sure exactly how much of that video I'll be able to utilize with audio, so I wanted to make one last point, and that was the good news that both the tri-tip, which was seared on the charcoal, and the tri-tip seared on the RecTeq RT-700 Bull, they taste the same. They were both amazing. And so the RecTeq got up to just under 500 degrees. And, you know, I'm not using sear grates, and if I did, then I'd have the sear marks and whatever. I don't know, maybe I'll do that, but the regular grates are, that's really an aesthetic thing rather than a flavor thing, I think. Maybe not. You can correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. But it was great, and I don't think I'll have to fire up the charcoal next time. I think I'll probably just be fine, you know, using the old RecTeq to do my sear at the end. It just takes a little, you know, took about 20 minutes to get it up to temp. Okay, now you go make some tri-tip, and I hope it's wonderful. Until next time, see ya.